Or when you get married, I say, well, if you find somebody, if you choose that, if that's something you want for yourself, but understand that you can have a beautiful life without all that.
Absolutely.
You know, you are not less of a person because somebody didn't choose you or you didn't find somebody. There are many ways.
And this is where I think there's some pandering too, because you want to stay in good graces with Black women for whatever reason. I don't know if there's a larger political agenda. I don't know if she's going to try to run for office. I don't know, but you want to stay in the good graces of Black women who, by and large, 26% of them, I think, or just 1 in 4, give or take, aren't married. They're not married. They don't have the kind of reality that she has. So of course you don't want to piss them off. You're going to sit there and lie to them and be like, oh, you don't need to worry about that. You can still have a really happy, fulfilling life without it. I'm like, well, what fulfilling life are a Black woman having, making $44,000, struggling to pay rent, struggling to purchase eggs and milk by themselves? What fulfilling life are they having when you have more of them going into the van life and they're just trying to survive? That's what's so weird to me. It's like, you're married. You are married with kids. Why don't you sit here? You got 26% of Black women don't know how to marry. Why don't you sit up there and teach them how to have a successful marriage? Because y'all know that having kids born in marriages where the daddy and the mom is there, that is the best chance that child has of succeeding. That's the best chance that Black family has of succeeding. So why are you sitting up there and pushing BS? Why don't you sit up there and teach these ladies how to be wives? That would be more. Why don't you tell your mentees, you know what? I see you still have a beautiful life, but I also see that you want a relationship. Let me help you. Don't sit there and try to convince them to be happy. And then now 3-4 decades later, they got to go on a podcast and talk about how they're grieving because they never found love. Why don't you teach them how to find love? That's the stuff that's so annoying to me. It's like they're recycling the same stupid talking points. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's so annoying. Sitting up there married to the most powerful man talking about, oh, well, you don't have to be married and have kids to be happy. All these elite women out there, like some of y'all said Beyonce, but they're talking about this.
Hey, my brother's back again. The clip that you just heard was from Shay Sade out front complaining again about Michelle Obama and the messages that she's been basically going on a world tour to send out about marriage and basically about Black female culture. I hate to keep harping on this. I really do, because we always get these messages, especially from some Black men, right? Some pro-Black men, that if we are so kick and define the culture and get out there and beat our drums and stand on our square and overcome all these odds, we're actually going to get more respect and more deference from our women. And maybe Michelle Obama is the exception that defines the rule, right? She has a man, whether it's considered Black, I don't care whether you call him Black or not, some people will debate that, but we're going to call him Black for this instance because he was considered to be the first Black president all over the planet. So basically he's ours no matter what people say about him. He's Black. He's been Black. He's come out of Hawaii, bred through Chicago and stuff like that. He's Black. He married a Black wife from Chicago who is a gynocrat. You can hear it in her voice. He's Black through and through, whether we like him or not. And the thing is that he is everything embodied in what a top tier Black man should be, in whoever words you actually want to measure. Even a white man. White men across the planet cannot get any higher than Barack Obama. It cannot get any higher as far as power, maybe wealth, possibly. As far as power and status, you can't get any higher than Barack Obama. Even white men can't do it. Being the first black president of a white country can't get any higher. That's historic. One day, Barack Obama is going to have his face minted on a coin, like a lot of other presidents. He's basically the Abraham Lincoln of our time. So saying that to say this, right? Basically, Sade was saying is that you are out here giving the wrong message. And the same message has been going on for the past, I would say, 100 years about marrying black men and being married or forming families. And like say, I can hear Shay Sade's frustration. She's getting tired of hearing it. That it never changes. That's the problem. It's not like it's getting worse. It never changes. If you look at the stats, for the most part, as far as degrees, this problem is almost intractable. It's been there since, I'll say, emancipation. It's almost intractable. Boys' education, family formation, out of wedlock births, yada, yada, yada. It has been a problem since inception. It's never been solved. And once it peaked out, I think the out of wedlock births peaked out in the I think it was the 80s, 40 years ago. The needle has not moved. Kwanzaa Kinjufu, God rest his soul, rest in power, brother, has been preaching about the education of black boys and the plight of black boys since the early 80s, 40 years ago. And before that, Clark and Moynihan in the 60s were talking about it. Before that, Frazier was talking about it. Before that, in the 1890s, Du Bois was talking about it. It's an intractable problem. And what I'm saying is we just have to accept that this is the culture. It's not going to improve. This is so embedded into the culture, so embedded into who we and what we are, male and female, that it's not going to change. It's not going to change. You can't change this. It's just like a building that's built wrong. You can keep trying to patch it up and alter it here, alter it there. It's not going to change. It's because from the foundation up, it's built wrong. You have to tear it down and start again. That's what's going to have to happen to the black community. It's going to have to be torn down to the studs and start again. Down to the foundation and start again. You probably have to dig up the foundation and replant it. Just strip the ground. Like, when they tear down a house and they dig a hole and they dig up all the foundation and they start all over again, we might have to do that because this problem will not budge. Black women never wanted to be married to you. They never did. Frazier said that. Frazier said that. Du Bois practically said it in the Philadelphia Negro. Black women never wanted to be married to you. Black women do not want to be married to black men. I don't know if it's black men particularly or just any man. I don't know. But it's an intractable problem. Black men think that we can do something superhuman to change a whole entire culture that's embedded, and we can't. We have failed miserably over the past 70, 80 years. Miserably. And every time we think we make it better, it gets worse. We thought social media and bringing a problem out front where people could see it would make it better. It's only making it worse. It's an intractable problem. And at some point, we're going to have to admit that this problem cannot be solved. The problems of the black community cannot be solved. You can't patch it up. You can't tweak it. Either you accept it for what it is, or you tear it down and rebuild it into something else. Your women don't want anything different. That's the whole thing about Shay Sade going in on Obama. She went in on it. You're married with kids to one of the most successful men on the planet, not in the country, not in the community, not in the country, on the planet. And you talk about it like you were miserable the whole time. If you listen to Michelle Obama talk about Barack, not knowing that he was president of the United States, you would think that he's some pookie. He's some average dude with an average wage And he's just disappointing. He's a disappointing father and a disappointing man. He never did anything good. If you just hear her and how she talks about her and her marriage, you would think that he's an average black man that's a disappointing black man that disappointed her and never amounted to anything. If you didn't know who he was, you look at her face when she talks about her marriage and her husband, and her face drops. Her face drops. Like she had to suffer through her whole entire marriage and nothing good came out of it. Like your whole life was ruined because you married this man. And she has that look on her face like she could have done better. You look at her in the way she looks and where she talks about it, like if I hadn't married him, I could have done so much better. And that's what I'm getting tired of looking at. You see, it's very seldom do you see a happily married black woman. They're so rare, it's ridiculous. That's probably why there's so few of them married. And at some point, we have to get to the point where she admit this. This cannot be fixed. Like Mr. D was just talking about Sabrina Springs and the end of courtship, right? And the way she talked about relationships, the way she talked about black men and relationships, and she's a PhD scholar that's been teaching for God knows what, 20 years? With access to all kinds of knowledge and all kind of research, and she still talks like this about men, about black men in particular. This cannot be fixed. This is not a class problem with like chicks in the projects in the ghetto. The only difference between the chicks in the projects in the ghetto and the chicks that are sitting in colleges with PhDs teaching is the language. The message is the same. Listen to Michelle Obama. You can't get any higher than her. A black woman in the United States cannot get any higher than the status of Michelle Obama. Can't get any higher than that. And she's still unhappy. She is still unhappy because it's a cultural problem. She's a black woman. This is part of her culture. And misery is part of that. Master Yao said black women are emotionally masochistic. Black women are not happy unless they're victims. Black women do not trade stories about how wonderful their marriage is. They trade stories about how miserable they are, how bad their husband is. Even though they'll support these TikTokers that are married, have happy marriages, or something like that, they'll support them. But the real money is how bad black men are. If you want to make a whole bunch of money, you talk about how bad black men are and how wrongly black women have been treated. You'll make a ton of money. I was looking at the movie Sinners, right? Okay, decent movie, it's shot well. Storyline is fudged, but the relationships between people are stressed, and the relationships between black men and black women, their dialogue, the whole dialogue with every woman that a black man talks to is always confrontational. Always some smart ass quip, some smart ass clip. There's never any love. There ain't no love portrayed. I don't think I've ever seen a black movie with a black man and a black woman where love was ever really portrayed. There's always some stress, always some ugliness. They can't talk life into each other. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's like being ugly to each other is just a way of us showing love. And I am an old man, and I've been watching this stuff since I was a little boy, 3 years old. You go back to, I think they call it, I forget what the name of the TV show was, where they had characters of black people, right? Okay, the ugliness and the rudeness of the black family portrayed on TV has always been. If you look at the Cosby Show was where they're supposed to love each other and honor each other. They're still confrontational. The Cosby women said ugly things to the Cosby men. They did. It was with a nice, polite, genteel voice, but they said ugly things. Same thing in a different world. Everything's always confrontational. You look at I don't remember name me a show where the black man and the black woman actually talk life in each other without all the smart aleck snippy remarks. Name me a movie where that happened. A movie where that happened. Everything's always confrontational. It's always a challenge. It's always a battle. That's just built into the culture. I remember this movie called Love Story by Ali McGraw. I forget, and I think it's Ryan O'Neal. I think that was his name. And they were in this movie called Love Story, and she had some quips here and there, but you could tell that she was dedicated to her man. He was dedicated to her. There's white people have movies all the time about how dedicated they were to each other. I mean, you look at the movies called It's a Wonderful Life. That woman loved that man. She loved his dirty draws. They're always kind to each other. You hardly ever see that. Well, almost never. I can't remember one. Even one of the so-called greatest love story movies in black film history is Love and Basketball. They beat each other up the first time they saw each other. An abusive relationship from beginning to end. And that's what you call love. Love and Basketball is the epitome of the relationship between black men and black women. It's a competition. It's a competition. And in that competition, I guess that's where you find love. That's why I call black men and women Klingons. It's built into the culture. I see how my son is treated by his black wife and his black sisters versus the Latinas that he messes with. It's a stark, raving difference. And it's built into the culture. It is what it is. Just like Jewish women are Jewish women, right? They've been Jewish women for 2,000 years. They haven't changed. Maybe we have to accept this is who our women are. This is our culture. Look at the stats, marriage stats, like Shay Sade was saying, and the out of wedlock birth stats, that Medium Man was talking about, the abortion rates, all this other kind of stuff that goes into black culture. It's so dysfunctional that maybe we just ought to admit this is embedded into the culture and we don't have the ability to actually change this stuff. Maybe we don't. After all these years, I'm at the point where I don't think we can change it. And we have to rip this stuff up and start again. But nobody wants to rip it up and start again. I always hear that if we're just powerful enough, we're going to change this. And then when I ask how, nobody has an answer. The only answer that I get when I ask this question is black men have to be better. And when I ask how, there's still no answer. Black men are just supposed to be magical pixie dust, rising from the ether and just emerge into this powerful force that's going to conquer the world. How, Sway? How, Sway? Riddle me that. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. It's BGS out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.